Hello, guys. Welcome to today. Back to on the podcast. Here again, recording alive. My name is Mike. Today, I have Jin. How you doing, Jin?
Hey Mike, how's it going?
That's all doing good. Living. Midterms are this week, and I've been stressed out completely. Luckily, I only have one more, and then I am done. Every midterm, I get reminded how much I hate school, and can't wait to be done with it. But almost there. Almost there.
There'll be some points in your life where you're gonna kind of miss like this particular grind and crunch, right?
I would like to. I would like one of those things to happen. I have been in school. I have been in corporate jobs working 40 hours a week. Then I went back to school. And going back to school the past 2 years has reminded me how much I actually miss working 40 hours a week
Yeah, I
compared
think
to school.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be a lot calmer. I think once you actually make it to the workforce in some ways.
Yes,
But
stressing about grades every single week and homework is something I can't. I'm getting too old. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I just want to graduate.
the
like
good news is like once you get your like first real job, everybody like no one gives a shit about your grades anymore, and it's a great time.
this is what I know is so true. I know this is so true, and I'm doing these grades, and like my girlfriend's like telling me you should shoot for all A's. I'm like, no, I'm shooting for C, like 75, 80, which is just passing, because it doesn't matter. I just need to get the grade for the credit. Anyway, enough about school. Today we're going to be talking more about Shatterpoint. It's our monthly Shatterpoint episode with me and Jin. And so we're going to go over the announcement that AMG recently made and just talk basically about the future of the future Shatterpoint for the podcast, and just go over everything and catch up. So before we get into it, we're going to do our live one stories. Jin, you can go first.
Yeah, so I got to play a game with one of our locals recently. He's a really good player, and we were playing. I was playing a Mando list with Paz, and I think it was shifting priorities, and he specifically just kept leaving Paz alive on one
Oh,
because he was really afraid of attacking him, so that when he dies, right, he gets his reactive to take off the wound, get a 5 dice attack, right,
mhm.
and then also pay the one to jump and shoot somebody again. So it was just like, I don't want to deal with any of this, Jin. So he just kept force pushing me with Asajj
It's like you
Ventress.
can be alive on one and just
Yeah,
stay there.
yeah. You're gonna live one. We're just gonna push you 3 away each time. So I thought it was just very good, like that soft power that
Yeah.
Paz is just threatening like all the time there. So yeah, that was a funny alive on one that I got there.
How have you been liking Baz?
I like Paz. Haters are gonna hate. I love Paz. Actually, if you can make sure that the team you have actually supports the amount of force he wants to use, I
Mhm.
think Paz is an incredible model, and he's like always gives people like a second, like oh, should I not? This is going to be bad. I have to think about what does Paz do, because man, that 5 shots, but with that expertise of just getting 3 free hits, right, for 1 expertise. Oh, that's so scary.
He does a lot. He's what I wish like Savage Opress was in a way. Like just like a big brute that's gonna hit you like a truck. But I will say he does do it better than Savage.
Yeah. Savage like he's got a myriad of things like going. I hope MG as the preview we were talking about has promised annual updates. So maybe Savage will get his due one day.
Oh, I hope so. I guess that can lead me to my live on one. I forgot to put it on a document, but I played a TTS game and I was playing with the Dathomirians because I haven't played with them in a long time. So I just wanted to play with them, get familiar before oh my god, what's her name? Morgan Elsbeth comes out, that box.
Yeah,
Because I plan on doing Dathomirians again. And I had Savage Opress on Sabotage Showdown. He was in the middle point and he was alive on one, with expose, strain, all that good stuff. And he ended up taking 2 Anakin attacks and 2 501st shots, uh, and not dying at all. And just holding down the point like a G. Granted,
that's
granted, my opponent just did not have good rolls at all, and I had amazing defense, even though it was only 4. Every time I rolled, it was blocking everything. He had no crits because Savage has no crit mitigation. My opponent did just roll poorly, but Savage was able to be alive on one on the point and not take any damage.
hey, it's a dice game. Sometimes you're gonna get those breaks, and you have to just react to it, right?
Yeah. His model's so cool. I just want one thing. If they do an update to him, just give him a push somewhere on his tree. That's it.
Yeah,
Uh,
considering how much of a bruiser he is, I'm really surprised they gave him like no control, like anywhere, right?
yeah, he has no control whatsoever, but he is hard to kill. And he is good at killing primaries, but he just needs a push or two on his tree, and I think he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it. But yeah, that's our live on ones. Hobby catch up. Jin, you can go first.
Oh yeah, I have this really cool painter that's painting all my models right now. He does a really good job. You should look him up. His name's Mike.
Oh, Mike who, Jin?
Waller? Yeah, that's his name.
or how our Borg pronounce it, Whaler.
Yeah, Whaler.
Whaler. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been painting a lot of Jin's models. I've been trying to do a bunch of commissions for people to help pay, mainly to help pay for my semester. As college is not cheap, as everyone knows. For me, I've been painting. The only Shatterpoint model I painted for myself the past couple weeks is Plo Koon. I finished him up. I played a couple games with him, so I wanted to get him painted up. For Shatterpoint, I don't like playing the models unless they're painted, so I painted him because I just wanted to try him with Mundi. I've also painted Adam Warlock. I got him like 90% done, and I've been painting Valkyrie. So I've been going back and forth between them, trying to get them as close as possible to where I want them to be. But I've been experimenting with oil paints, and I don't know if you've ever tried oil paints, Jen. They are very tricky to use.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, they take a long time to settle, so you have a lot of time to work with them, right? But because of that, can be very finicky that way.
Yeah, they're not easy. I've been using them on I did a test one on Quasar and I hated how it came out. I had to restart her. And then I used Pedro's commission minis a while ago to try out oil paints because he wanted them to have an oil wash. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. So I had to restart those for him. So now if I want to try old oil paints, I've been just using them on like Legion minis that I don't care about at all. Like try out different ones to see how they go because they take days to dry a lot of times.
Oh,
Before you can add like regular acrylics back. Like if you can wait 24 hours, but it's better to wait like 40 plus hours for it to dry before you start painting it again.
yeah. So that's what we're talking about, right? Like the
Yeah.
turnaround time to paint like the oil paints is like much longer, right, than versus an acrylic like
Yes.
project.
And I mean this on like on minis. On terrain I've used oil paints plenty and it's fine. Like looks great. For all my terrain, like my New York City apartment, I've used oil paints on it and it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fine with like letting that sit for days. But minis, like letting them sit for a long time, and when you want to get them done, is I am very impatient. So
Yeah, I mean these are your play pieces, right? So you want to be able to bring them to the shop as soon as you can.
yeah, exactly. I'm like so impatient. So I'm like now if I oil paint something, it's gonna be on the weekend and just let it sit for the weekend because Tuesday's usually my play day. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my play days.
Nice.
But yeah.
All right. Let me run through the tournaments really quick since I was the one that put them up. Okay, so let's see for quick tournament announcements because we always want to support Shatterpoint in the Northeast. So these are Northeast events that I'm aware of currently. If you guys want us to announce anything that's usually not on Longshanks, let us know. alive1 at gmail.com. Message, Stephen Bork, myself, Mike Waller. Just let us know. We'll happily promote any events coming up. So let's see. Black Moon Games in Lebanon, New Hampshire is doing a Shatterpoint event on March the 7th. Rogue State Games in Mawa, I believe on the 8th, is doing their event as well. You were signed up for this one, Mike, right?
Yes. So that is run by Chris. He runs all the events over there in Mawa. Great guy. He's awesome. Definitely encourage everyone to register if you're in the area. It's gonna be 2 games for 2 weeks. So you'll be, I think it's like that. So you'll be assigned 2 games for 2 weeks. You'll be assigned 2 games, and you have to get them done. You can just play whatever you want. There's no lists like lock or anything. Just play what you want. Just to really have games. This league is meant to just meet the community that is up there in Rogue State and just get familiar with everybody. And just like build the community. That's what this league's supposed to be. I signed up. Christoph, who was on our last episode, signed up, and we're gonna have a great time.
Nice. Further on, let's see. Our next New Jersey event is going to be at Top Deck Games, I believe, on March the 15th. Is that correct? At Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I believe that's where it is, right?
Yes, it is. I was thinking of the following week, but that's the MCP tournament. Yes, this is right.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And up in Rockport, Maine, I believe the Ides of March a convention event is happening in Maine at the Samoset Resort. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But that's also March the 15th. So there should be a pretty good community up there. So if you're interested in doing that, it's a big, usually 40K AOS event, but they also host a Shatterpoint tournament there as well. So if you're interested, please check that out if you're in the northern New England area. Let's see. And finally, our favorite store, Red Seal Games in Matawan, New Jersey, will have a Shatterpoint tournament on the 22nd of March, it seems like.
Yes, that will be during our charity event. I also want to mention we have the Alive One charity event for MCP the weekend of the March 22nd. We have, how many signups do we have now, Jen? We have like...
I was close to 30, I want to say. So let's say 30, give or take, like at the time of recording.
Yeah, we have close to 30 people. We're going to have, it's going to be great. It's going to be 4 runs, I believe. Jin and Steven are going to be the TOs. I'll be there. Eric's going to be there. Pedro and Sean, unfortunately, are not going to be there. But we're going to have a lot of great prizes. Spoiler, I'm going to be painting some MCP minis and Shatterpoint minis for raffles. And we're going to have raffle those off to people. So I have some extra Shatterpoint minis, and I'm going to paint up a squad and some MCP minis, and we're going to raffle those off. And we're also going to have a bunch of other stuff to raffle off. So if you guys are definitely interested in the area, this is great for new players, experienced players. Like, just come, hang out with everybody, get to meet everybody. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, and the proceeds will be going to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, so it's going to a good cause. We had a really good turnout last year. Hopefully we can keep that momentum and, get some good donation dollars to people that will, cancer research is important, and we hope to support it,
Hope to see you guys there.
Yep.
All right, so we'll get right into it. So about a week ago now, last week, right? This was announced? I think so.
Yeah. So, we're starting our third episode of Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Yep.
So therefore, AMG will then give us an announcement that will rock the proverbial world in Star Wars Shatterpoint land.
Yeah. So AMG has announced they're basically going to be cutting back supports of Shatterpoint. They're not going to fully be like they're not pulling the plug out completely, but they're going to be cutting back a lot of supports. All I can assume is due to maybe, I don't even know what the reason is. I don't even want to speculate because I don't want to say anything that's not true on here about it. But,
so as a general thing, I would say that like anything that has to do with like limiting the production or budget that goes to AMG, that they're under the Asmodee umbrella, right? Like, so, you don't have to be very specific, but I assume that has to do something with Asmodee, probably has to do something with quarterly, reportings. They are a publicly traded company, so therefore you have to appease the stockholders, right? So like, It's always like, how do you get more for less, right? And I feel like this probably leads into what's happening with like their decisions with Shatterpoints at the moment.
I also want to say a lot of Shatterpoint players feel maybe a sour taste towards Legion now, because they say this is because of Legion's new renaissance, basically. Now, for people that don't know, Star Wars Legion, that was my first miniature game that I ever played, and that I played competitively. Star Wars Legion had a period of time of maybe 2 years where not a lot of stuff came out either. And when AMG took over, still for a year and a half, they didn't really release anything. They didn't really do anything. People were saying Legion's dead. What's the point? I even stopped playing Legion competitively, and then Shatterpoint came out, and a lot of Legion players didn't want to even play Shatterpoint. But now Legion has had this renaissance with all the new stuff that has released, that Legion is booming. It's sold out in a lot of stores that I go to. They can't keep it in stock, and I don't want people to think, Shatterpoint died because Legion has had a renaissance. That is not the case. I don't think at all.
No, I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, right, it depends on sales figures, right? So like if Legion happens to be selling well, right, and they're putting because they certainly put a lot of effort into that new edition.
Yes.
I don't think it necessarily is like, them taking dollars away from Shatterpoint.
No,
You know,
I don't think so at all. Also, Legion is a more profitable game. It is an army-based game. So where Shatterpoint, you only need to buy one box, and like that box, you're done. You don't need to buy it again. With Legion, you can buy a lot of boxes up to X amount of times. I play clones, and I have two marksman clone trooper boxes, and I still need for the list I want on. I still need to buy three more, and each of those boxes are $50.
that's
So
wild.
yes, well, I don't need to, but it's like I want to.
Oh no. You
Yeah,
need to. I understand. Listen,
yeah,
we have a sickness, and
yes.
that I get it.
Well, what I did because I want to run. I'm not gonna get too different Legion, but with Legion, you could technically be fine with the two boxes, but I want to watch. I want to run each of these units as like super squads where there's like 12 minis. I took an extra arc unit I had and I kit bashed it as the marksmans. So technically I have three squads of that because I had extra phase 2 helmets and I just put them on the ARF trooper heads or bodies or whatever.
Nice.
I basically I needed to find a way to save money.
Yes.
But the Legion is more profitable in that way. I mean, like tanks in that game, they sell for like $70 and you can run two each. So if somebody wants to run two tanks in their list, that's over $100. So Legion's just obviously going to be a more profitable game. But it doesn't mean Shatterpoint's future is dead at all. They said just the production is going to slow down. When I first heard the announcement, I was very bummed out, and I still am a little bummed out, but I was very cold and like, oh, this sucks. Like one of my favorite games I've been really trying to get into the past year is going to die, da da da. But that's not the case. It's just production is going to slow down. They're still going to be releasing a bunch of stuff. We have a bunch of stuff that's going to come out in the next 2 years that they are. I assume the next 2 years that they've already announced. Like the sequel trilogy, Qui-Gon Jinn, more mercenaries, and we still have Adepticon in a couple weeks. And who knows what they will announce at Adepticon?
Yeah, I'm hoping for like a more like substantial roadmaps, like a clear roadmap. Just like it's like, hey, can you tell us like what's the staggered release schedule going to look like, right?
Yeah.
It did also promise specifically the balance patches, right, annually. So
Yeah.
I guess maybe around every May or so. They haven't committed to that, but the last timing was I think was May, right, for the Shatterpoint update.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're planning to do that yearly, right, then that's actually a really good sign because they're still invested in keeping this game like interesting, right?
Yeah.
And sort of like fix if there's any like top end stuff. I'm sure right now, I've only just gotten into this community, but I am very aware that there's a lot of talks about like specific, Rogue One characters that are really good right now.
Cassian.
And Basin
Yeah, Basin Cherub. Yep, they are very, very annoying. But you know what? People that say that they're not as bad as Iden was when she was in her prime. Well, Iden's never got changed, but like that Iden list, Basin Cherub and Cassian are not as bad as what Iden was. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that like they just they changed up Gideon, right? And like the was it the support units, right? So those are the two folks that got changed, and that drastically changed it. And Iden didn't need to change like at all. It seems like.
Yeah. Iden herself is fine. And then when it comes to that list, I think Cassian's Paint the Town Red or not Paint the Town Blow Up. His explosion thing is too much, and then Basin Cherub just do too much damage.
Yeah.
But also in the contrast, Delta Squad is also freaking dumb too. But you know what? I play Delta Squad, so don't touch them. There are a lot of I like
Please
them.
don't nerf my overpowered squad, says
Don't
Mike.
don't nerf my guys that it's like I feel like a little kid playing them because I played the game when I was a kid like 3 times, so I feel like a kid every time I have them on the battlefield.
Oh yeah. You play your soldiers that can't die, but your friends always die. Yep. Pew pew.
Yep.
No, but I think it's good that they're committing. I think nothing will like hurt something more. Well, no, there's other things that can hurt it, but one of the things that would be really rough in a miniatures game is a very stagnant like tiered power level, right? Where it's like oh well, these guys are like the gap is like pretty decently wide. That there's like, why would you run anything else, right? And I imagine that would contribute to a lot of event fatigue, right? Unless there's some sort of weird, like, premier ban list or something you can implement or something like that. But otherwise, yeah, if you keep seeing like Cassian and Baze and Sheridan or Delta Squad all the time, it's like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah, yeah. It's just though those outside of those two lists, the game is perfectly balanced. Like
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything. It's just those two lists are very impressive.
yeah. But that's also in the hands of like, let's say, a very good pilot as well too, right? So like,
Yes.
these are not characters that you can just like roll up and start winning with immediately. So like, I assume that at your local game night or at mid tables, like at events, like everyone's going to be like pretty much fine. I think it only really matters like once you get to that top echelon of performances. Um, and to be fair, like most people are just playing not at that level, and that's
Yeah.
actually makes them like less oppressive. I want to say.
Shatterpoint is a very it's more casual than like MCP and more casual than Legion. When I play Shatterpoint now, if it's not a tournament, I always play with whatever unit I just painted. Like I do that all the time, and I play with that unit for a couple games. I played 5 games with Nadar and realized he wasn't for me. But hey, I still did it. But when you go to a tournament, that's when we're really going to see like the more precious stuff. Compared to with MCP, if it's a Tuesday night and I'm at Red Seal with all the PRP people, I don't care. I'm like Adam, Adam, Adam. And I just throw Adam at them the whole time. I'm like Adam, I don't care. But the Shadow Point's a lot more casual than MCP.
Yeah, I think it also depends on your play group, right? So like,
Yeah.
so the folks in my Connecticut school store, everyone's just there because they just want to play like certain models, right? They're not really meta chasers or anything. Like everyone just like, oh, I feel like playing Separatist tonight, or hey, I really want to play, Empire tonight, right? Like that's the thing I want to do. It's only when like I one of my locals was just like, okay, thank God this tournament's over. I can stop playing Vader 1 now, because he was just trying to get reps in, like for that. So I thought that was just really, really funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, the game, like it's a lot. It's based on your tactical decisions, right? Like this game more so than anything else. Like there's very little turn zero stuff, right? It's like once you bring your list, you just have to play the best you can with that list, right, for the mission on hand.
Well,
So
I'm happy you've come around on the game, Jin, because I know when you first got back into it, you weren't. I don't. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you were feeling the game that much.
I really hated the priority scoring, and
Yeah.
I that's still a little bugbear for me personally. But you know what? Because there's more missions and more characters now, I feel much better about it, and I feel like now I have a better understanding of like how we can start mitigating some of the feels bad plays. Because really, it was just like I had bad positioning when I started the game, and I didn't understand like how to compensate for map changes that would then lead to like those extra points being scored, right? And I think I got a little better at that. There's still a lot to go, but you feel better now once you understand like that's kind of what the game was asking of you.
Yeah. MC, my God. Shatterpoint is definitely more a movement based game. Now, with you speaking about characters, we were talking about this earlier, and I do want to say this on the podcast regarding with the announcement that AMG has said. I want to say to people, we look how much we have gotten in less than 3 years. We pretty much have gotten the characters that you can ask for in a Star Wars game. Besides Yoda, I can't think of any main character that is not in this game.
I'm still pushing for the Republic end of Revenge of the Sith in that chamber where like it's Sidious and Yoda just throwing those
Just throwing hands.
throwing hands or throwing those platforms, those senator platforms at each other. So that's like the only thing we're really missing because we really don't have a Yoda Sidious representation, and I feel like because of how character focused this game is, right? They gotta right. Like,
Well, I don't think Sidious is ever going to come to this game. I'm saying that because of the reason why he's not in Legion anymore. They took Darth Sidious out of Legion. Something with he didn't feel with the game's philosophy of like how it's like a war game. Like Sidious wouldn't technically be there, which is true. Like on the battlefield, so they took him out. In the same context, like I can see that for Star Wars Shatterpoint, but a little less so. I will say Sidious definitely has more of a chance to come into Shatterpoint than to Legion.
because you got to think about like it's like okay, it's the Revenge of the Sith end scene, right? But also dude, that 2v1 with Savage and Maul, like, come on, man.
Yeah,
You tell me that's not a Shatterpoint scene, right?
exactly. Yeah, he's definitely more than like coming here than Legion, but I think with like this announcement, I would bank on seeing Yoda before Sidious. That's my only thing. And I still have the theory that the next diorama they're gonna come out with is gonna be something with Darth Vader, because every freaking diorama is with Darth Vader. So I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be like another Luke in Darth Vader. It would be cool to have Sidious and Yoda. I would want Sidious with the Royal Guards though.
Oh, you know it's gonna be? It's gonna be Dagobah. You get a Luke, you get a Yoda, and you get Phantom Vader.
Phantom Vader? Yes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That would be freaking awesome. So we're gonna go into, because it's gonna be more of a shorter episode. We're now gonna go into with the announcement that they have said, and with no new releases that have been released since I think September at this point, and no changes that have happened. We're gonna go into lists that we just want to mess around with, and like why we want to mess around with them, and just brainstorm a little bit with different lists. Jin, do you want to go first before I go?
Yeah. So the only squad that I'm really interested in playing right now is that I recently got a kick in just playing the armor again, and with Paz and the covert Mandos. So just the box as is. But the problem is always like it's like, man, I really want to do more revenge triggers with Paz. I just need like more force with it, you know. And like obviously Mando's my usual pairing with the armor, but obviously like he doesn't generate like a ton of power,
Yeah,
you know. So you can think about like Cad Bane and those guys like for doing something else. But then someone proposed the idea. It was like, oh, you should try like Count Dooku with this list, and I'm just like, that's crazy. And then I realized that his force gain is not tied to any tags. Actually, it's just that if you're a primary or secondary, actually get wounded, they you just get 2 force power refreshed. And Dooku himself also does bring 4 force as well, and he's relatively force efficient until you actually want to like start canceling dice rolls, right? With his superpowers, not superpowers, but his active ability, like in this game.
yeah.
So what I did was I instead of the Django, I decided to take Bo-Katan as the secondary for that way. That way, you're still benefiting from all the Mando synergy as well. But she is also like pretty hardy, or makes all your characters like hard to move and whatnot.
I think Scott, even Houdini was playing this list
Yeah.
for a while. He won the Depticon last year with it.
Oh shoot, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm not a trailblazer by any means. It just like it came my way at some point. I was like, oh, this is such a really good concept. Like, I will definitely try it.
Yeah.
In the
He
supports, we took the Magna Guards, I think, because it's either going to be the B1s, the Magna Guards, because Dooku can give those characters free movement, I think, but they're the only 3 threats in Separatists. It seems like.
unnerfed Magna Guards, man. Unnerfed them. Unjustifiable nerf. They did not need to be nerfed.
I think 10 health and that expertise tree was kind of ridiculous, actually.
Yeah, I guess, but like, I think their health is fine. But what made them stupid was pairing them with Vader 1, but you can't do that now. So I think they're fine. Also, the reason I say that is because the Separatists only got anything else going for them. So like the Magna Guards being good. Anyway, I remember I played into this list at a tournament against you into Scout once, and it absolutely destroyed me. like Dooku and Armor, I didn't realize how freaking fast the list was. So
Yeah.
Dooku to a less extent, but the Armor and like the Mandos, I did not expect any of that to happen.
Well, Dooku's still pretty fast because you got to figure like he gets that dash at the beginning in advance, right? And then he on his Makashi, like he just needs 1 success to get a reposition. Like that's pretty wild, actually.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, he gets a reposition on 1 in Makashi.
I've never played him. Hold on. Oh shoot, he does. Okay, yeah, no, he's pretty fast.
Yeah, he's really fast. So yeah, and then he gets to bring along the Magna Guards, right? So it helps out their movement as well. So that's really good. But yeah, you're at such a surplus of force that like during the game I had with my local, I was like I was never starving for force to do my counterattacks with either Vader or not Vader with Dooku or Paz, and that was really scary for the opponent.
I didn't realize he has 2 full repositions on his Makashi tree. So if he gets 6 up the tree, he can do 2 repositions. Holy cow!
Yep.
Dooku is definitely when his model released, he was ahead of his time. He is still a really good model, and he's a monster on the battlefield. The thing that holds him and all separatists back is all their primaries are really good, but everything else is mediocre. And if the separatists get like any buffs in this next update, like any of their supports or secondary units, they're probably going to come back, and more people are going to be playing them again, which I would like to see. Dooku's great, Asajj is great, Grievous is still great, Riff Tamsin is great. Just a lot of the separatists primaries are all great.
That Rift box is pretty good though. Like so that was what my opponent was playing was I believe Asajj, Kalani, the B1s, and the Rift Tamsin box. The Rift Tamsin box like is good, dude. There's so much dice that you get between that.
When you pair that box together, they can do a lot of damage. Especially Nasaraya, I really like his Riptide ability. And then the Aqua Droids are they're very beefy and they're very fast because they're on that ginormous base. But my only problem with the Aqua Droids is a little bit squishy, but other than that, I really like them too. But Riff is great. I don't know. Have you tried playing with Riff before?
No, I don't have the models, so like I haven't actually decided to put them down. Yeah, this is one of those games where like I should probably play in TTS more, but yeah, I don't play a model unless I have it.
I played Riff with Cassian. So I paired Riff with the Weekway Pirates, Jango Fett, and then Cassian had who did Cassian? I gave one of the bounty hunters and Bazin Cherub to Cassian. That was a ton of fun. Riff was able to because Bazin Cherub are scoundrels and same with the Weekways. And because they hit a little bit harder than the Separatist supports, it felt very oppressive. Him being able to jump and make an attack if he was in range of somebody. I forgot what the ability is called. Let me look it up real quick. Which one is it? The Blood in the Water. So I just like moved them up the board like early on and had him in the middle, and then when my supports win, I just always had him jump and make a 5 dice attack into somebody.
Nice.
Yeah, he's really good. I really like Riff.
Yeah, he can
do some serious damage.
Yeah, no, he's constantly like moving around the board and just like the amount of revenge triggers that he gets, it's so good, dude.
Yeah, a lot of different revenge triggers. His Death from Below is great. It's just like Vader 1's ability.
Sorry, I misspoke. His reactives, I should say, is what I meant.
Yes, yeah. His reactives are really good. He refreshes force very easily, a little less than people will realize. And when he's adding a bunch of dice to any of his attack pools, and then he does Death from Below, man, it feels good. Pedro once like threw like 11 dice at me, just one-shotted my freaking Obi-Wan, and I was like, what the hell? He really does some serious freaking damage.
Yeah, we're looking at like Vader 1 like levels of damage. It seems like if you line it up correctly.
Yeah, man. He does. He is fast. He does damage. He is a good support. He pushes people off points very easily. When you're able to get the free attacks, if you're on the quality side, because you just need to get a 2 up to push somebody off, or you can heal somebody. So he is a great piece, and same with the Aqua Droids too. That whole box is just really good.
Yeah, it feels like a small stopgap until like hopefully we see resurgence, or not necessarily resurgence, but just a relook at the current Separatist cards, and hopefully they'll get a buff.
Then I like them all a lot. Or I like all the primaries, and I do like Kehlani and the Aqua Droids. They're good, but the B1s, Magna Guards, like they need an update. Kraken needs a little bit of an update.
Kalani definitely needs a rework on his defense dice and maybe his expertise tree, because I feel like there's been so many games where like my opponent will roll like 5 expertise with Kalani. I'm just like, I am so sorry. That is like almost nothing.
Yeah, that is something that they can update too.
Yeah,
I mean, the last update was the Republic update, so hopefully this one is a Separatist update.
Yep. So we'll hope so. So which squad are you looking at these days, Mike?
So what I have been wanting to play, I have not wanting to, been I haven't wanted to think really. So the squad I've been playing is just, I call it who can kill better. So it is Jedi Master Mace Windu, Clone Commander Cody, 501st Clone Troopers, and then Clone Sergeant Hunter, Crosshair, and Republic Commandos. And my idea of this game is to have a kill count between Cody and Crosshair and to see who can get the most wounds at the end of the game. That is literally the whole thought process of this list. I don't know if it's good, but it's just going for maximum efficiency for damage. If I wanted to, I could just make Mace Windu make what's his name, a boss. But I like having a lot of force with Mace Windu. And Cody being able to spend force easier, and then Crosshair, they're both able to get a lot of wounds. Cody just does so much damage in the right situations. When you give him the Hunter modification, and then you let him get his focus from Sharpshooter 2, he is able to get up his tree very easily. If he gets full up his tree, he is doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage, which is going to one shot most supports and a lot of secondaries in the game.
Yeah.
So, but he usually does about nine damage because full up the tree and then 1 expertise is an extra damage, so 9 damage really gets you there. Also with the pin and bleed, and then Crosshair. A lot of people know how Crosshair is. He's just a killing monster. He pings you for 1, strips your hunkers, and then also does the same thing. Just gets full up his tree, and he is doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another 8 damage. So the idea of this list is to have the 501st and like Clone Commandos and like Hunter and Mace Windu, just like all my units kind of like tee up all of the other units, get a couple damage on them. That way, when Cody and Crosshair do go from afar, starting like the first struggle, like on their first activations, they just take 1 move and then they shoot the unit and they basically automatically wound them.
Right.
From range, and then like be my back point holders for the whole game. While everyone else pushes up. And then with Mace Windu, I'm usually able to get a bubble of Steadfast and Protection to make my Clone Troopers a little bit harder to hit. And having Tempered Aggression on Mace Windu, that way I have Force Refresh, really helps, because the problem with clones is once they get wounded, they can't really use a lot of their abilities. So, I said Tempered Aggression, not that. Shatterpoint, to be able to Force Refresh with Mace Windu.
Yep.
So him and the Mace Windu on himself, he doesn't need to spend any force. So having a primary that doesn't need to spend force is really helpful.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Mace is like really, really force efficient. Yeah, so he really is just giving it to the rest of the team.
Yeah, I never really spend force on Mace. Like, I don't really need to. I'm honestly usually like just throwing his saber half the time, because 2 up the tree is 2 pushes and 3 damage. I'm usually fine with that. And I always consider that like a good activation, basically. Move 30 Sable to take the point, and then he doesn't need to, and then he's always like moving units up the board too. And the Hunter, we know how good Hunter is. All my units are Clone Troopers, so having them be able to have modifications just for free, give them all free hits is amazing.
Yeah, make sure you hit the top end of the tree like more often, right? Which is really nice.
Yeah. I like how I painted my Crosshair, because I repainted him a couple weeks ago and I did the head option. So that's also why I've been wanting to play with him.
Nice.
Yeah. And same with Mace. I really like how I painted my Mace. And then I have the Republic Commandos. That way they're, well, I just really like them. That's really just flavor for choice. They're very annoying to try to kill. They can do some serious damage, but they're very fast and they have scale. And I like the fact they have scale. And then for the 3 points, I choose 501st. I like Corny Fire Strain. I don't really think you need the arcs anymore ever since they got changed, unless you're playing Anakin. So I'd rather have the 501st. And the 501st being able to give out pin and strain on their tree, and then also have a reposition potentially, is really nice. So yeah, that's why I like the 501st more. Yeah.
It's
Have
pretty
you
good.
played against Mace Windu or like Hunter or any of these units before?
No, actually, yeah, there's a distinct lack of people playing Galactic Republic, surprisingly, at my store, which is
Yeah,
really weird considering,
that's
like,
surprising.
they got buffed and everything. So again, my store's meta is very different. Like I said, it's just like people just want to play what they want to play, right? So
My store's meta is just actually now that I think about it, I'm like the only Republic player. Everyone else usually just plays like Rebels, Scoundrels, or Empire. I
yeah,
think I actually am the only Republic player.
so maybe your store has a lot of like that Galactic Civil War, right? Like fans like that era.
Yeah, I think that's what people usually gravitate towards anyway. More. It's weird. I've noticed with this game, people usually gravitate towards like the era of Star Wars that they grew up in. So I grew up in like the Clone War era, so that's why I like playing that stuff in any Star Wars game, like the clones or the droids more. But then the people that grew up with the original trilogy, they gravitate towards like the original stuff, but then also like Mandalorian, like that era basically
Yeah.
of characters.
It's funny for me. Like, I would have thought that the Galactic Civil War would have been what I wanted, but actually, I've been leaning towards more all the Dave Filoni like projects. So, like, he really made Clone Wars like work for me as far as like it's like, oh, these characters are like very fleshed out, and that's really cool. Ahsoka's journey. I mean, like, also the Mandalorian. Like, those are like actually my favorite characters right now in Star Wars.
You watched the Clone Wars?
Yeah, the cartoon series. Yeah, it was
Oh,
great.
I didn't know this. I knew you watched Star Wars Rebels. I didn't know you watched Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like I when I first saw Rebels, I was like, it doesn't look as good as Clone Wars. I don't know how about this, but my expectations were met. Eventually, the more I watched,
Yeah,
it's,
that show like season one's whatever. Season two is some of it's
yeah,
good, some of it's bad, but then
yeah, yeah,
three
yeah,
is fantastic.
yeah. They found their footing, and that was good to see. But yeah, I was like, man, I don't know. Can you top Clone Wars? Because Clone Wars was like dope, like by the last season, right? So
Yeah, oh, it's so good, and it really did flesh out the characters, and it made me like Anakin more. Where if you just watch the movies, you don't like Anakin that much. He's kind of like annoying and just whines all the time. But the Clone Wars really fleshes out his character.
yeah, they gave him that depth so that by the time like there's a lot more goodwill that was brought up with Anakin because of Clone Wars, so that
Mhm.
when he comes back for the Obi-Wan show or something, right? You're like, it's like, we miss Anakin, like we miss Hayden
Yeah,
Christensen, and that's cool to see everyone that participates in the making of Anakin, right? Like they're getting their flowers now, which is really cool.
yeah. I do I really appreciate that more, and I appreciate Clone Wars because with fleshing out Anakin, you see why he actually fell to the dark side, and you're like, you kind of understand. You're like, I get it actually.
Right. So because of like all these quality shows, like I have a higher attachment to like these characters, right, in this game, and that
Yeah,
makes me want to play them more. Legion, I know is probably like a really good game, but like because it's still dissociated from like the character driven drama that I enjoy from Star Wars, it's harder for me to like get invested in Legion personally. I not that Yuck anyone's yum, like I'm sure it's a good game. It's just like not what I'm looking for, at the moment. Like I would rather continue to play Shatterpoint, and I think for me, it seems like this news doesn't really dissuade me from wanting to play this game because I think the people around me still want to play it, and as long as people still make events, I think we still would like to support them.
yeah.
Um,
I agree with you 100%. I was actually talking to Christoph earlier today, and he was saying that he's like, as long as people want to keep playing, I will keep doing events, and we'll keep having people come on Wednesdays to play. Basically,
yeah,
uh, doesn't matter. Like they still at Red Seal, we still have people that come every Wednesday to play freaking X-wing. Like there's at least like 4 to 6 people all the time, and it's like it's gonna be the same with Shatterpoint. Like the game's not gonna die. And they didn't even say it's gonna die. Just the releases are gonna slow down. Uh,
yeah. I
and
think gamers as a whole are very hyperbolic, and there's a very Chicken Little kind of behavior where like we think the sky is falling like very quickly, right? So
yeah, yeah, I did think that last week too. I was like, oh, it's like no. I was like, not Shatterpoint. I even said in one of the discords, I was like, I would rather MCP stop than Shatterpoint because it's like I generally enjoy Shatterpoint more because I love Star Wars.
tell us how you really feel, Mike.
Yeah, fucking love Star Wars, man. It's because that's how I felt with Legion when I thought Legion was gonna like die. To be fair, they didn't announce anything; it just stopped, and I was like, "Oh, this fucking sucks, man." I was like, "I love Star Wars. I love Legion. It's gonna stop now." Yeah, I'm actually getting back into Legion.
Yeah.
Danny, if you're listening, I'm holding you to this game, man. I told you once a month I want to play. I got these models and you agreed to me. We haven't played at all this year, so we have to schedule a game this month.
What the
I'm
hell,
gonna hold,
Danny? What the
yeah,
hell?
I'm gonna hold you to that.
So yeah, like as a miniatures game, like that's the thing. Like it's not like an MMORPG where like the servers get shut off and you just can't play this anymore, right? Like this is a miniatures game. You have your models, you have your cards, right? So as long as people show up to play games, right, at the end of the day, like who cares like what the production schedule looks like for AMG? Like if you enjoy playing this game and they're willing to update and support it with like tournament kits and balance updates, like keep showing up for events. Like if you like this game, please keep playing this game, you know?
Yeah.
Like the game only stops working when there's only one person that wants to play, no one else wants to play, right? As long as there's two people that are willing to play, the game lives, right?
Yeah, correct. My last question before we log off, is this gonna make you want to buy all the boxes now or not buy all the boxes now?
So here's the funniest thing about the announcement. It's like the biggest selling point we always have for Shatterpoint, right, Mike, is the fact that it's like, hey man, you can buy like 2 boxes and you have like a full squad, right, ready to go, you know. And that was such a good selling point to this. And I'm just like, and there's so much replay value that you can get out of the boxes.
Yeah.
I think I now have like a rough idea of like the box that I want, which is primarily going to be like I have all the Galactic Republic stuff that I want. I might get the Rift box because I do actually have a Separatist. The box that I actually really want next, actually after we finish our Rebellion stuff, Mike, is I really want the Bounty Hunters box.
Oh, the Cad Bane one?
No, it's the one with Boba Fett, Dengar, you know, like Bosk.
Oh yeah. I remember I got that by one of the tournaments, MCP tournaments you hosted. I used my prize winnings to buy that box, and then I painted IG-88 and Dengar that night.
Yep. Yeah. So like I think because I really like playing Mando, like I really like I think Dengar pairs really well with him.
Dengar will pair amazingly with Mando.
Yeah, and then for CAD games, like I think IG like is fantastic, right? To get those extra dice, right?
I agree.
Team.
IG is a blast.
Yep. But even then, like, dude, Boba Fett, like, I was pretty like underwhelmed by his card initially until I realized, like, oh, this guy just craps out damage. Like he hits you, but then he plinks you for so many other extra bits of damage here and there. He'll just kill you.
That was my first reaction. I thought that too, and then Pedro put him on the table once against me. I literally told him, I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Why are you using Boba?" Because he was playing like Mando armor, and I was like, "Just put in Bo-Katan. Why are you playing Boba Fett?" And he literally, before we rolled dice, he's like, "My Boba Fett is gonna fuck you up, and you're gonna regret what you said."
Yep.
And Boba Fett indeed fucked up my Mace Windu, and I did regret what I said.
Yep.
Ironically, Boba Fett fucked up Mace Windu. So, but it was fucking hilarious. So Boba Fett is great. He does a lot of work. I think he's one of the underrated pieces.
Yeah, no, he if you need to kill somebody, like he is actually really good at it, and it was very smart design, I think, like for his character. Like it's very unassuming at first. Yeah. So yeah, there's everybody in that box I want to play. Even Bosk. Like if you get a bounty hunter like premier list going, like I think Bosk definitely can be in that conversation too. For this construction.
Yeah, Boss is great too. He's great for Empire for some reason. What's the reason? Oh, because he's a 3-cost and people use him as a 3-cost secondary in Empire.
What, you don't want to use Stormtrooper Sergeant?
I think that's why nobody wants to use the Stormtrooper Sergeant.
No, come on, man. Like Stormtrooper Sergeant, he'll get his day. I'm sure.
You know, it's like with this announcement, this actually makes me want to eventually just get all the boxes, actually, because since the releases are just going to be slowing down, and I'm going to run out of stuff to paint eventually, I might as well just get all the boxes.
I mean, yeah, what this definitely means is that people have time to catch up on their purchases and paint projects, right, for this game.
Yeah, it's like with MCP, I gave up like last year just getting every box. It's just like so much, and I'm like, I'm never going to catch up on painting. And I just gave up. But with Shatterpoint, I've been very selective, and I haven't really been buying. Like, I don't buy everything. And once I finish all my clone stuff, because I still haven't, then I'm gonna go to my Rebel stuff, and then like the Scoundrel stuff, and then I might as well get the Droid boxes.
Yep.
And then the Empire stuff at that point, and kind of go like that. Since if production is gonna slow down, I might as well just own the whole collection. That way, I can play whatever the hell I want.
Yeah. But until then, though, would you say that we'll probably make an episode 4 for a Live on One Shatterpoint?
Yeah, we're not gonna stop. We're not gonna stop episodes. The next episode is gonna be We're gonna go over any Adepticon announcements that they make. It depends. If they make a lot of announcements, it's gonna be the whole episode. If not, then it'll be like half of the episode, and then we'll include some other stuff in the other half. But that is what I plan on gonna be for the next episode. We plan on releasing the first week of every month. Shatterpoint episodes. I'm hoping when my semester is over, then I can focus more on like character focused episodes, like lore based, which is what I really want to do, as I have so much books, comics, and like I know a lot of lore of these characters. So I would like to like take secondaries and primaries and talk about the lore with them, how to play with them still. Uh, Bring on different people in the community that play these characters, and that's what I'm hoping I get around to the in the summertime. It's just during school time, it's so difficult to focus on all of this because basically because of school. But that is what the hope is for Shatterpoint in the future.
Yeah, so don't expect us to quit this game anytime soon, listeners. We do intend to play more Shatterpoint and looking excitedly at the roadmap ahead, and hopefully towards the whatever the yearly balance is when they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think this game, like the gaps with characters, are not very far. It just takes a couple tweaks here and there, and I think everyone becomes like at a more closer playing field. I want to say, but
Yes, I agree 100%. Just take care of Baze, Chirp, Cassigan, and Delta Squad, and then like everything's pretty much balanced. To be honest,
mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, and maybe we can bring up
it's
some of the other folks up.
yeah, that's it. It's very balanced. Do you have anything else to say before we log off?
No, I think we're good. Do you want to just let the listeners know where they can find us in this podcast?
Yeah, you can find us on Spotify or Apple Music at Alive on One. You can also join our Discord. It is also Alive on One. Links will be in the was it the footnotes of
The
the
show
episode?
notes, yeah, like
Show
yeah.
notes yes, of the episode. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. And let's do Godspeed, Anakin Skywalker.
All right. Yep, they'll get that all right